And now, it's Boomer Life, lifestyle discussion designed to make your life more engaging, meaningful, and complete. Celebrating the baby boomer generation, this is Boomer Life on CIL 650.
Monday, must be funny in the rich man's world.
Welcome to Boomer Life on CIL 650. I'm Joanne Sutton. So the skill testing question today is, are you where you want to be financially? A well-thought-out plan for your financial future is an integral part of building the life that you want for both yourself and for your family. On Boomer Life today, we're talking about your financial future, and we're talking with Jim Doyle, Senior Financial Consultant with Investors Group Financial Services, Inc. And we've got a really full show today, starting with how you approach financial planning. The irony for many disciplined savers is that after a lifetime of fortifying their nest eggs, they may find it difficult to start spending that hard-earned money in retirement, not to mention watching these savings dwindle as they age. Talk about really difficult. So the good news is you can worry less if you plan more. And that's what Jim Doyle is here to help us with today. So welcome, Jim. Just wondering where you're going to start us off today.
Hi, Joanne. It's great to be here. Many people we work with have worried so long about saving enough for retirement, and they find the transition to the deaccumulation stage of life difficult. Sometimes it's about conditioning expectations, and this is where working with a financial professional can really be of benefit to you.
Plan more, worry less. I absolutely love that. So when we're talking about this deaccumulation stage, what we're referring to is the reverse of accumulating. We're not just talking about stuff either. Let's apply that theory to money. Taking money out and not necessarily replenishing it at the same rate as we're taking it out. Kind of scares me.
That's right. I've definitely noticed over the years that some of the people we meet with have a definite challenge when it comes to the deaccumulation stage. We work hard to create a cushion, your nest egg, and when this cushion begins to deflate a little, it can be distressing. But this is a natural phase of life, the deaccumulation, and it can be fun. That's why I'm here to help you understand.
So what I'm hearing, Jim, is that when it comes time to spend, there's a sense of anxiety and reluctance, even when many have access to far more retirement savings than what they actually need. So I think this is a great example of how people can be anxious and fearful about money. So why is it that you feel people are actually worried?
In my experience, there can be a reluctance to draw assets, to spend money, because there's a fear that the money might be needed in the future. For some, spending gives less pleasure than savings. But I'm here to reassure you that with proper planning in place, you can relax and enjoy the fruits of your labor.
It all comes back to plan more, worry less. So I hear what you're saying, Jim. We can enjoy spending more because we have a clearer picture of the impact our spending patterns could have on our future choices. It has to be difficult when you see people not doing the things that they want to because they simply think they can't afford to. I've heard a very popular rule of thumb that suggests that you should save enough to provide a retirement income that's equal to 70% of the pre-retirement income. Is that right?
Well, there will always be exceptions. It comes down to your unique set of circumstances. Some people might need more, some people less. And this is why you can benefit with sitting down with a planner to find out where you fall on the spectrum.
Well, this would be a great time to suggest that if you're thinking you might appreciate a second opinion from a seasoned professional, Jim has 27 years of experience and he knows what he's talking about. You can reach him at 604-682-5431. So, Jim, I know one of your favorite planning tools is the written financial plan, where you can actually model income streams, taxes, and asset levels over time to look at outcomes and plan appropriately.
Most definitely. When a plan isn't available, sometimes you might be tempted to want to follow a rule of thumb, such as your retirement income should equal 70% of your pre-retirement income. But before we try and establish hard and fast rules, it's important to understand what your retirement income represents.
Retirement income. That could be defined as the level of retirement income that allows you to maintain the same standard of living as when you were working. That's what I think. Are we talking about your standard of living in your last year of full work, or are we talking about a longer period of time?
Most people would appreciate their retirement income to be as rich as the income earned at the end of their careers, as these are the peak earning years. For most, however, the definition of maintaining your standard of living would hinge on what your particular circumstances offer as retirement income. The definition changes based on what your pre-retirement level of income was at.
Jim, can you give us an example of that?
Well, for instance, those with lower income households may need more than the 70% figure. And fortunately, the Canada Pension Plan, the Old Age Security, the Guaranteed Income Supplement may help them fulfill their needs. If, on the other hand, you only spent 40% of what you made while you were working, why would you suddenly need 70% unless you had a specific plan to spend more?
Right. It's true. Very difficult to determine future costs to such a very fine degree of certainty.
That's true. Keep in mind that being overly simplistic or generalized in your assumptions can be troubling. And what I mean here is that avoid being overly simplistic. You will only live a certain amount of time in retirement, as an example, or that serious health issues will not change your lifestyle and habits. Be open to the idea that chance events can and often do happen.
So, Jim, it sounds like you help clients who may have forgotten that the clock is ticking on how much time and good health they have left, and you can help them relax and really start enjoying themselves and their lives.
We can only try. It comes down to planning. Many of the people that we work with place great value on their portfolio being at a certain size. And if it dips below that, they get concerned. I think the majority of clients that I work with could spend more and don't need to work as long as they actually do. They need help personalizing their retirement so they can worry less and enjoy more.
So one of the things I've learned over the course of our working relationship, Jim, is that retirement is an evolution rather than a single one-time event, and it requires some practical testing and continual adjustment. So where do you think some people are missing the mark when it comes to their retirement planning?
I'll let Investors Group answer that. Recently, Investors Group did a study on newly retired or soon-to-be retirees, and the study cited a new retirement risk, the risk of underliving or foregoing meaningful experiences for fear of overspending.
Seriously? The risk of underliving is an issue?
It is. On a positive note, the study found clients were more comfortable spending if they receive regular financial reviews along the way to see the impact of investment returns and withdrawals.
It's clear that retirement planning is not a simple case of one size fits all. So would most retirees likely spend more in the early stages of retirement because they have more available to them? Is this common?
I can't overstate the value of an annual review. Increasingly, my role as an advisor is shaped around personalizing retirement planning. This involves annual monitoring and encourages a willingness from the clients I work with to adjust to changing circumstances in order to create realistic retirement spending behaviors.
So what do you actually need from your clients in this regard, Jim?
To do my best work as an advisor, I need a full picture of your resources, including retirement benefits, registered and non-registered savings, as well as any employment pensions. The next step is to use software and spreadsheets to run projections using various scenarios, such as spending more or less than anticipated and adjusting as necessary.
You mentioned the importance of an annual review. I usually think of it when I look at my statements and see if I've actually made any money, but it sounds like taking a holistic approach could be a wiser approach when it comes to investing.
An annual update is important to deliver the messages regarding things you won't see in your investment statements, like what you've been spending, as well as investment returns and any adjustments you might need to make to your financial plan. If you're heavily reliant on your investment portfolio for most of your income, you may need to draw less if there's been a down period in the financial markets.
What I'm hearing is it's still okay to take a trip or two, but just maybe on occasion do something on a less grand scale.
It's all about planning. By helping the people I work with have a better understanding of what might happen under various circumstances, I think they have a better idea of what they can spend and what future events might require adjustments or closer examination of the portfolio.
So what's one area that you feel might be overlooked?
I'd have to say tax minimization. These strategies bring focus on your investments to maximize the after-tax income you'll have available to spend.
I get it. By implementing effective tax minimization strategies, you get to keep more of what you make, and you might even need to take less out of your investments overall.
Even small changes in the average portfolio return can make a big difference in the value of your nest egg.
So, Jim, you've raised some really good points here. Let me just say that if you're not where you'd like to be financially, maybe you could get more answers by getting a second opinion on your financial plan. So in this instance, I suggest you call Jim, 604-682-5431.
Thanks, Joanne. I'm not sure whether you knew about this, but advisors all across the country are facing a real dilemma. Ultra-low interest rates have made the task of finding secure sources of income for clients a challenging, if not impossible task.
Well, we have GICs or term deposits and government bonds as traditional safe havens for investors, but basically they're almost paying nothing. What are some other options that people might want to consider?
Now, I always want to preface these conversations by saying that no one investment is right for everyone, and that you should consult your investment and tax advisors before making any investment decisions.
So, can you tell us, Jim, what you like?
I still like dividends for what they pay, as well as the tax break you can get on them. But it's important to remember that they are still stocks. If you need to access a substantial portion of the capital, you may need to review how dividends fit into your overall investment strategy.
Is there anything else that's high on your list?
High-yield bonds pay superior yields. They can be an interesting option, but you need to be careful as they often have characteristics similar to equities. And segregated funds and guaranteed income funds can be optimal choices in that they give you an opportunity to combine investment and guaranteed payments for life.
Well, thanks for some of these solid suggestions, Jim. So in the new year, we can consider adding dividend-paying stocks or high-yield bonds and segregated funds and guaranteed income funds to our investment mix. But you've also mentioned tax a few times. Are there any investments that offer substantial benefits in this regard?
When it comes to keeping more of what you make from your investments, one of the nice things mutual funds offer is T-Series funds. They provide a set payout and can be a tax-efficient strategy because much of the income is classified as a return of capital.
Maybe we should be writing this one down. T-Series mutual funds. They provide a set payout and can be a tax-efficient strategy because much of the income is classified as a return of capital. Did I get it right?
Absolutely. When it comes to the T-Series, you choose from balanced funds through equity options, but you need to choose the appropriate level of risk and how much equity exposure is appropriate. This could be a great conversation to have with your advisor. See what they suggest.
How about clients who have a desire for certainty, something low risk? What can you offer them?
An insurance annuity can be a good choice for some or possibly all of someone's portfolio, but you need to watch the timing of the buying decision. Buying an annuity when you're too young, you may not get the best return. Buy it too late, and you might not see all of your capital returned to your heirs.
So, Jim, you've brought so many well-articulated ideas to the table so far today. I want to thank you for that. But before we head to the break, is there something that we really need to remember?
To remember, when you're dealing with unfamiliar circumstances and big consequences, such as shining a light on financial decisions, you may feel increasing anxiety. That's normal. Change can be difficult. Many believe that the risk of doing nothing is safer than the risk of making a mistake. I'm here to let you know that we can move beyond this fear by addressing it head on.
It's all of this has been very insightful and great to plant the seed as a great start to the new year. It's also a good reminder that life is a journey, and like any successful journey, it should always include good planning. Plan more, worry less. If you have any questions about your retirement readiness and you might be curious about getting more planning advice, you can call Jim Doyle for some of those answers. You are listening to Boomer Life on CL 650. I'm Joanne Sutton. Today we're speaking with Jim Doyle, Senior Financial Consultant with Investors Group. And to learn how Jim can help you, give him a call, 604-682-5431. Or you can always send him an email, jim.doyle@investorsgroup.com. So our next topic is going to be aging in Canada, what it really means, and how keeping focused on the long term can help secure a solid financial future. That's all next on Boomer Life on CL 650.
Celebrating the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.